All right, so for today's LIIT sequence, you're gonna need 2 sets of hand weights, and you may wanna have a chair or something to help you balance. And we're gonna be doing some full body movements, steps, and a lot of upper body work to help your balance as well as your strength. So we'll do 15 minutes and 5 exercises repeated 3 times, 40 seconds on, and then 20-second rest for each exercise. And make sure not to push it though. If you're getting sore or if there's pain or anything, you can always modify or opt out or do something different. All right, if you're ready, let's get started. So I'll take you through each of the exercises first as a bit of a warm-up and let your body get used to the movements and make sure everything feels good before we start the timer and get into the 15-minute LIIT sequence. So this first one, you want to have very light weights. You could even start without any weights at all, just to get the motion. These are up and pull downs. So you're gonna bring your hands way up and you're gonna pull down and then you're gonna extend behind you. It's almost like you have enormous ski poles and you're propelling yourself forward. So if that motion feels good, then get probably your lightest set of weights and you lift them up overhead. You pull down and then you go back and your triceps activate to pull you down and you squat. So it's kind of a compound movement. There's a lot of moving parts here. So that's why you want to start off with a very light weight before trying something a little heavier. Just like that, okay? And now next one, C curls, where you internally rotate and you curl, but we're gonna add a step. So you're gonna step back as you do the C curl. All right. So the C curl from the side view, it's very close to your body. And you don't have to go way beyond it. It's just up to the shoulder. Okay, so C curl with a side step. All right, next one. Step back with hammer curls. Hammer curls are straight forward and back. Hands are parallel. Step back, step back. So you're gonna get your steps in today. Stepping backward in particular, really good to build that neural map in your brain of what's behind you, being able to step back without losing balance. Next, stepping forward with grocery bags. So you lift your grocery bags up, step forward, and down. Lift it up, and down. So lift as you step, lower it as you step back. Now for this one, again, you can start with light weights, but you might move to a heavier weight before too long, as you're recruiting much bigger muscle groups than the pull downs, for instance. And last one, classic deadlift. Feet wide, your weights together like you have a bar. Stick your butt out as you lower, and lift. Keep your back long and lift. And you really use your glutes, hamstrings, and your core here to help lift. Okay, so we'll go through these 5 exercises, 3 rounds, and we'll have a 20-second rest between each 40 seconds of exercise. Now, just because there's a timer doesn't mean you have to force it. If you want to take little breaks throughout the 40 seconds, always okay. All right, we'll start in 10 seconds. With our lift up and pull down. So light weights to start with. We're doing 3 rounds, so you can always increase the weight a little bit later. Go up, down, and then back. Add that little tricep snap at the end, extending your arms back. Good work. Nicely done. Giant ski poles pulling you forward. Last one. Okay, and now 20-second rest. So in between, you can always set your weights down. Give your arms a little shake, massage, release some tension. Don't carry it into the next one. And we'll do our C curls with a side back step. So whichever side you're going, you can step that direction. So you'll step. Now, if you're not really familiar with C curls, you could also just warm it up a little just with your arms until you get comfortable with that. Then you can add the step. If there's too much going on, you could just do the step. Remember to take some piece of it. If you can't do the whole thing, just try some portion of the exercise, the upper body only, or lower body only, or maybe you take more breaks. You are where you are, and you're only going to build as much strength and balance as you can today, which a little bit over time goes a long way. All right, let's rest. Shrug the shoulders out, and if after the first round it felt like you could do 3 times more, then probably time to bump up the weights. You want to feel a little bit tired by the end of each round here. Not exhausted, but definitely tired. Next one, step back with hammer curls. So the weights are parallel. Palms kind of face each other as you step back. Now, if putting your weight back feels too risky, feels kind of too dizzying or something, you could just do a touch back instead, where you don't actually put your weight back, but you just touch the toe. You'll keep your weight on the front leg the whole time, rather than shifting your weight. So that's another alternative too. All right, 20-second rest. If you don't need that full rest, you could keep going a little bit longer, but it's good to get your heart rate up and then back down again in between each exercise. Next one is step forward with grocery bags. So you'll grab your fully loaded grocery bags here and step forward as you lift them up and back. Step forward. So same thing, one way you could modify this to make it a little bit easier is instead of stepping forward, you just touch forward. And you keep the weight right where it is in the middle. That's okay. Now when you practice shifting your weight front and back like this, you build your proprioception, your ability to sense where you are in space, kind of feeling where your edges are. And that's going to serve you really well long term. Awesome. And there's your 20-second rest. Take it as much as you'd like. And stretch out in between sets too to release any residual tension. Next is deadlifts. Bring your weights together right in front, feet wide, and stick your butt out as you squat down and up. It's likely if you're using really light weights, you barely feel anything because you're using large muscle groups here. So you could bump up your weights on the next round or two if you feel like this isn't doing enough. But even just the act of squatting and standing will help build your strength and your mobility here. All right, there you go, round 1 done. We'll do the whole thing now 2 more times. In between, you can shake it out or massage. And you may want to bump up the weights a little bit if you're wanting more of a challenge. This first one overhead though, I'd recommend staying with a lighter set. Bring up and down. Good. And once you get a little bit comfortable with this motion, you can add a little momentum, like you're really propelling yourself forward on ski poles here. Driving yourself forward with the power of your arms. Now if this bothers your knees, all the up and down, you could try an isometric version where you just keep the legs in one place. So there's less rubbing on the joint. That goes for any of these. All right, rest. Shrug it out. And next one, C curls, the side step. If it felt too easy the first time, feel free to bump up the weights a few pounds. You could warm up with the C curls before the step, just to make sure everything feels good. And you can add that side step. It doesn't have to be a huge step, it could just be a little touch. And keep in mind, you could also, instead of putting your weight on that back foot, you could just touch it rather than shifting your weight to it. That'll be a little bit easier to just do a toe touch instead. Kind of a fun movement. It looks pretty cool too. It looks complicated, but it's not too hard. All right, rest. Shrug it out. Good work. And especially if you're dealing with heavier weights, setting them down in between, not a bad idea to give your hands a little rest from curling too much. Okay. Now step back with hammer curls. Now it's tempting, especially if you're using heavier weights, to just let them drop, but really try to control the weight on the way down too. You'll get twice the benefit if you engage your muscles up and you keep them engaged on the way back down. You control it on the way down. And rest. Good, shrug it out. Shaking, massaging, tapping, great ways to make sure you don't get sore. Keep that lactic acid moving. And next, grocery bags with a forward step. And forward step could also be a toe touch, if that's easier, or if you don't feel comfortable with the full step. Of course, it's good to challenge yourself. There's something called progressive overload, where you progressively load your body more and more with strength or stretching, but it's not progressive overwhelm. You don't want to get to the point where you're totally overwhelmed, just loaded more than you're used to. All right, rest. Good, shake it out and take that period to release any residual tension. And last one here, deadlifts. Feet wide, the weights together like you're holding a bar. Stick your butt out and lower and lift. Nice. So if your knees bother you, you just do an isometric hold and you'll build your strength just the same. If your weights aren't too heavy and you want a little more at the top, you can zip up the weights to the collarbones. Now if you're just using 1 or 2 pound weights, this probably won't feel like anything at all. Probably want to have a little heavier set to challenge yourself with these bigger muscle groups. All right, round 2, all done. And let's do the whole thing one last time. Now you might be more tired by the 3rd round, sometimes you're more energized. So I'd say get a lighter set or a medium set for the pull downs. And plant your feet parallel, reach up, pull down and swing it back. Extending your triceps. We're looking to get you into zone 2, heart rate 60 to 70% of your max. If you're 75, that would be high 90s, low 100s. You can get a simple fitness band to track your heart rate. A lot of the smart watches will do it. All right, rest. Let's see how my heart's doing. 120, nice. So I'm definitely, for me, that's probably zone 2, maybe even zone 3, but You can also tell by if you're talking, you have to kind of catch your breath every now and then, but you can still talk. All right, C curls with the side step. Good, I'm gonna bump these up a little. So if you don't already have at least 2 or 3 sets of weights, it's really nice to have more tools in your tool belt. Because we do a wide variety of exercises. Some using very small muscle groups, and you want lighter ones, or their movements are further from your body. But you also want to have something heavy so you can build your strength and challenge yourself. All right, rest. A lot of people, their only exposure to fitness is something like a boot camp or high intensity interval training, and it's really brutal and hard, and you feel so sore the next day you never want to come back. So step back hammer curls. So I really like low intensity interval training because the intensity is low enough that you can sustain it. You want to feel challenged, but you want to also enjoy yourself. We got our bodies for the rest of our life. No rush. If you can just start to enjoy more types of exercise, that's going to do wonders rather than forcing yourself to do it or having somebody force you to do it. That tends to not last very long. And rest. Shrug your shoulders. Especially with upper body weights, your neck can get a little tight, so make sure that releases. And next, grocery bags with a forward step. So get your bags fully loaded and then up and down. If you use reusable like cloth bags, you'll notice that you can pile a lot more groceries into them, right? So they could be easily 10 pounds, 15 pounds. So hopefully this one's quite practical, lifting them up to your tailgate or up some stairs. Being able to lift and step at the same time, keeping your balance in a variety of novel situations. Awesome, and rest. And here we are, last round. Take advantage of your rest period. And then we'll finish with deadlifts. You could probably take your heaviest set here. Feet wide, weights together. Stick your butt out. And lift. So you're getting your hamstrings, your glutes, your strong leg muscles into this one. So the arms aren't doing a whole lot here. And it's like picking up that bag of potting soil, picking up a watering can full of water, picking up a paver. Being able to squat and lift is very, very helpful. All right, rest. Beautiful, set them down. All right, so hopefully you're feeling a little stronger and a little more balanced. Nice work.